Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Back to the TARDIS podcast, the podcast where we take a look at every single episode of the 2005 revival of BBC's Doctor Who. I'm Jeff.
I am Aurora.
And I'm Al-Haytham.
And this week we are discussing the 2015 Christmas special, The Return of Dr. Mysterio by Stephen Moffat. This thing's fucking weird. It feels like a weird outlier from literally everything around before and after it. It feels like its own weird microcosm. I guess because it's set in America and is like mostly American characters, so it has this weird energy, I guess, only like kind of shared by the TV movie. I guess. I don't know.
Not only.
It's really weird. I remember this episode coming out and just thinking, like, that was a really weird episode because it feels so standalone. Because, like, tonally, you're right. It's totally a break from everything that comes before it and everything that comes after it. But even more than that, it's weird because it's, like, a total, like, you know, standalone Christmas special that's kind of good.
And visually, it does not look like any. It feels like visually super different too.
Here's not only
also,
is it
like,
not only is it like probably unique in its like Americanisms of like it's not America in the past. It's not like any of that bullshit. We're not just like briefly in Utah before like fucking off to do like outer space bullshit. But like the actor for Grant was the lead in the so terrible, like, Dragon Ball Z movie. Live action.
Oh,
What?
no! He was in Dragon Ball Evolution?
Yes,
Holy
he's the main.
shit.
He's
Oh,
Goku.
no!
So, there's that on top of it.
See, I was sitting here surprised, like, I am astonished neither of these two American co-leads have been hoovered up by Miller DC. But I guess the reason why is because one of them was in fucking Dragon Ball Evolution. Jesus Christ.
I mean,
No wonder he was so good at acting as someone with superpowers with shitty CG.
He's better at it here. You got your redemption, my guy.
Well, he has like a decade of practice now.
Yeah. It's like it's super weird. It feels like the energy of this. Did either of you ever watch that fucking The Tech Show on Amazon?
No.
It
No.
might just be because it's like cheap superhero shit, but that's what it kind of reminded me of. I didn't really watch any of the CW shows. Could you also describe this as CW core?
Yes. Oh my god.
Yes.
Yes. That's what I was thinking of.
Yes. This is premium, like, Flash tier, like, drama. Not in the
Visual
secret
effects.
identity bullshit, because, like, everybody fucking knows who Barry is. But just in, like, the contrivance. But, like, also this feels, like, more self-aware than that. So it's, like, it's doing the stupid thing.
Yeah, no,
but it knows it is.
This episode might take the crown from In the Forest of the Night for sheer fucking stupidity. The only thing that keeps it from being like a one-to-one comparison is that In the Forest of the Night, stupidity is born from complete and utter crackheadedness, whereas this is just, haha, we're being a dumb superhero spoof.
Yeah, and I think it's endearing. I don't know. So sometimes self-awareness can be grating, but I feel like in this case it's like a self-awareness of like, yeah, this is dumb, but it's still cute, and so we're gonna play it kind of straight.
Even if they take
which
the bit a little bit too far in a couple places.
It didn't really bother me.
This is also the perfect time to do this, because frankly, if this was like Series 8 Capaldi, I don't think this would have worked, but like 12 is this is the episode where we see the coronation of 12 the Giga Chad.
Yeah.
This is like
Dad 12 or
Yeah,
Uncle
so, like,
12 or something, yeah.
Yeah, so he's comfortable in his skin enough to like that it's like he's obviously like annoyed and just like wondering constantly, at least when it comes to the super heroics, like what the fuck is happening, and like the very like Clark Kent Lois Lane antics that are happening, but he's chill enough to go along with it, and it's not another Robots of Sherwood moment,
Yeah.
because I think this could very easily be that if he was still in that era. So it's like, this is the perfect time to do this story. I wish they didn't wait a fucking year
Yeah,
before Doctor came back. But
imagine, like, I had to fit myself back in the mind space of where I was in 2016 when this thing came out, because, like, it is so, like, imagine the show doing Series 9 and then Husbands of River Song, and then dipping for a year and coming back with this. It's kind of fucking insane.
What can I say but L plus ratio?
Yeah. And it's actually, it's also like, this episode I think I've only seen it once before this. Like, I don't think I've seriously watched it before this. So I remembered, like, visual stuff that was going on, but I didn't, like, remember, like, a lot of it. Like I didn't remember, like, I thought, I didn't know that they just literally name-checked Superman in the first 5 minutes. It's like, oh, okay, we're doing it this way, and not the, no, Superman doesn't exist in this timeline kind of way. Yeah, and it's like, you know, you get your it is absolutely like a fun, zany Christmas special. And I hate to do this yet again for being so on brand, but it does have, like, okay, I said it's not as crackheaded as fucking In the Forest of the Night, but there's still definitely some moments where I was like, oh, this is RTD Christmas special levels of this is this is fucking stupid. Like the bit where they're in the brain room and the evil German guy.
That was such an RTD scene.
The evil German guy is like, surprise, you're next. And then fucking panels in the wall slide open and a bunch of creepy people in surgical masks fucking walk out. And I'm like, what?
they're just like waiting behind there for their cue.
Yeah.
They're just like, okay, we practiced the coordination, Geoff.
It's
you
like
really have to get this on.
It's like when you hit a trigger tied to an ammo pickup in Doom and a bunch of demons fucking spawn in. Yeah. Just and also like the corporate / medical horror thing is also very RTD. You like New Earth or Partners in Crime or the Sarah Jane Adventures pilot.
Yeah, there's just it's only one line and they don't ever really go into it, but it's just like, I think it's before the main antagonist guy is converted that he like he's talking to the German scientist and he's just like, you know, you're not supposed to be thinking, you're supposed to be doing the science. And I'm just like, wow, if that ain't never a lampshade if I've heard one. Like, fuck. And and again, this episode is not a serious like political commentary. Its backdrop for that is basically like, as we were talking in the back room, it's basically like World War III, Slovene Boogaloo Part 3.
It's the exact same fucking plan, just slightly modified.
I mean, can you really expect Moffat to come up with hokier plans than RTD? Like, let's be honest, when it comes to hokey alien taking over Earth plans, RTD kind of knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
So I think it's great that Moffat was just like, yeah, I'm stealing that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they even lampshade it because 12 mentions like every world leader has a zip in their head, which is not the mechanic here. So I feel like they acknowledged it.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Also, Nardol's there. It's kind of weird that even though he has second billing, he's like not really in the episode that much and just kind of wanders in to do something funny or to help out and then leaves. And
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird because I didn't remember this is Naruto's whole thing, but he's in the last episode. We don't see him leave with the Doctor. The next episode, he's just here and already has a pre-established relationship with the Doctor. And then at the start of season 10, he's like literally the Doctor's babysitter. And it's just so
he
weird
gets
that
a completely new backstory too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have this whole background. And we just don't see any of it develop. Moffat's just like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. They have this relationship now. Deal with it.
Yeah, it's like, wait, when was... Okay. Okay, so this was filmed in a completely separate block from the rest of Series 10 before Series 10 aired. In fact, I would have bet that this was filmed during the year... Yeah, this probably was filmed, like, earlier in 2016 before the show actually started airing. Like, let's see, when did the pilot air? I thought it was like spring or April. So like, yeah. I honestly feel like this episode was made and released before they'd actually like locked it all down, because Nardole is a complete, like, it's still Nardole, but it's like a very different interpretation of the character, and like the Doctor mentions putting him back together to have someone to talk to, which Nardole corroborates, when it's like, no, we see in Extremis that's not what happened. So it's
early character weirdness.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I mean, this is basically like, we have, I don't know, what we have in Husbands of River Song, it's like that character is clearly serving a very different purpose. And, you know, I'm not even mad about that, because, like, Matt Lucas is, you know, whatever you think of the problematic bullshit he's done in the past, you know, man is talented. He knows how to play off of Capaldi. It's a very different, like, Matt Lucas knows how to be, like, smarmy and can match the snark of Capaldi, but he can also do, like funny fucking gags, like he mentions how he's like tasted the milk for the baby, and it's a very fucking weird line, but he says it like it's the most normal fucking thing. He brings that element, and they perfect that with like Bill as like that third piece. But it's like, even here I already enjoy that dynamic as like not present as he is, because we got to give screen time to the Dragon Ball Z guy.
Yeah, no, it's just really funny. It's like, I guess the only reason that he has second billing is because he's more like well known than the Dragon Ball Evolution guy.
Yeah, not Z. Don't crucify me.
Yeah, because it feels like that's the secondary character, like him and his love interest. Which, by the way, side note, that fucking love interest is just even more proof on the file that Moffat is into CBT. We wrote River off. And then we introduced this character with the squeezy toy that, like, screams, and it's like, okay, guy. Come on, man.
Does the squeaky toy ever show up again?
No. Because it's her, actually, no, wait, does he take it into the TARDIS?
Yeah, he has it.
Yeah, no,
I
don't think it shows up again.
Sad. Yeah, so the whole like main like romantic thing, I'm of two minds about it, because on one hand, like, those actors genuinely like do have chemistry, both as like the superhero alter ego and the main guy, mostly because it's clear that they're like both like versions of Grant are just like dorky kind of losers, but like in a relatable, like nice way. And all I'm thinking about this as he's telling the backstory to the Doctor of like, I've known her since elementary. Like I'm flirting with her, and then like she sees my best friend. It's like all I'm thinking about is how in the modern day, if this came out, it would be like the incels would all be like, you know, ravenous on their forums about how this is giving false hopium to people, that they can become the Giga Chad. And it's just like, what I'm saying is the internet has ruined media for me, as I think it has for all people. It was just a weird dimension to that I like would not have thought of.
God, it's so funny. I'm just thinking about like, I know they're going for like the Superman angle, but is it just me, or does he, with the glasses, he looks like fucking Tobey Maguire?
He does. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like, this felt very Raimi Spider-Man in the whole, like, especially because she's like, I don't know, she kind of gives Lois Lane vibes too, because she's a journalist. I don't know if what's her face.
Lois Lane is Superman.
Not Lois Lane. MJ. MJ.
She is in some of the. She is in the PS4 in the Sonyverse. She's a journalist. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the actress was in PS4 Spider-Man. I was gonna be like, what?
No. I almost said that, but that would have been a misnomer. Yeah, it's very honestly like a Sam Raimi vibe for a Superman movie. Like, would probably work more than whatever the fuck the Man of Steel vibe was going for. Just my hot take that's unrelated to anything.
Well, yeah, because Zack Snyder's a libertarian. And thus does not deserve my respect.
No, he's roasted libertarians on Twitter. There was a anyway. That's a whole other terminally online thing that I'm not going to get into.
Are we doing Zack Snyder discourse? Are we getting #Snyder pilled on the podcast?
This
I don't care
podcast
about
is
him.
Presented in the 4:3 aspect ratio to preserve our creative vision.
Fuck you. Yeah, it's you're so true, King. But what I would now I've lost my train of thought. God. Yeah, no, it's gone. Here's what I was saying. Like, even though I think this is why it works that they play so much into the dumb, like, tropes of, like, the, like, alter ego and the secret identity, is because, like, they show in the very first, like, scene with the ghost that there's absolutely no stakes for this guy. So they're just like, okay, we have established this superhero. He's basically Superman. So we're just going to devote the rest of it to, like, corny, like, B-tier rom-com type of humor.
Dragging a bit
and
out longer than anyone
to
would think is humanly possible.
Yeah, like, especially when he's, like, taken off the mask and, the blocking for the actress is that she's just, like, not allowed to look up. And at that point, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah,
no,
I started
like,
yelling
really?
at my TV at that point. Which, by the way, now that we're in season 10, I get to go back to my Blu-rays, and yeah, I mean, aside from some CGI looking real rough, the episode's pretty good looking.
Facts.
I didn't think it was that good looking. I thought it looked like shit.
Well, okay. So the beginning,
just
the beginning.
The
yeah,
lighting
no,
is
when
so
you got
bad.
into some of the interior stuff, it was a little bit worse. But like the intro, where they're like outside the snow, was a little bit better.
The rooftop scenes. Ooh, those are rough.
The worst shot for me was when he's visiting Grant in, like, whenever, like, the puberty scene where the joke is like, haha, I can see people naked now.
I was like,
and
come
then, like,
on.
There's a cut to him, like, levitating
the dick joke.
There's the cut to him levitating above the bench, and I was just like, yeah, that looks like it's the TV budget of Doctor Who that I know and love.
And it's used on a fucking dick joke. Come on.
Yeah.
That being said, this episode did remind me of like, oh yeah, before he got into this, Stephen Moffat used to write like rom-coms and shit. Or like TV sitcoms with a romantic angle. Cuz it's really obvious. Like it feels like, yes, there's the superhero angle, but it feels like a romantic comedy thing that the Doctor just kind of wanders into and wanders out of again. It's so like, and I think that's part of the reason why it has like the tone that it does, because like they technically go like, oh yeah, he swallowed the stone, so and that's why he has all these superpowers. But even then, they don't even like really try to like science techno speak out their way out of any of this shit.
It's literally
It's
just
like,
like,
oh, it's
here's a
fused.
magic stone that takes power from the sun.
Yeah.
Wait, it literally gets power from the sun. I just realized that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's which is funnily enough also pretty connected to Superman when you
That's what
think,
that's what I meant. That's what I
Yeah.
meant. Yeah.
yeah, it's just, yeah. Again, I think not I wouldn't say we give like Christmas episodes like special leeway to be stupid, because there have been a lot of Christmas specials that have been like stupid in a not enjoyable way. But this is just, I mean, what can you say about this? It's like
Well, I
CW
feel like-
core, but they're aware of the joke. And that's funny.
So here's the thing, right? It's not that we give Christmas specials leeway to be stupid. It's because they are standalone specials that are not connected to another season. They are in a unique position to just go whole hog in on being fucking paint-huffingly stupid, because they're not part of a normal season.
Yeah, true. This episode has a
Yeah.
weird amount of continuity in it, though. Like,
Yeah.
Angels Take Manhattan reference, probably, at the very beginning. And, like, we have a repeat of, like, a C-tier antagonist from the last Christmas special.
Yeah,
Like,
I was like, wait a second, that's the same fucking effect, because it's not even like, it's such a weird reuse. Like, there's no like, oh, I bet we'll see these guys this again, or oh, it's those guys. It's just literally just like the same effect, and they just pretend like, I mean, admittedly, these were aired literally a year apart, but it's like,
Wait, this is
what
a
the
year
fuck?
apart?
Yes, because the
Yes.
last episode was Christmas 2015.
Well, what happened in 2016? Why wasn't there any
The
episodes?
show just took a break for a year.
Huh. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like yeah. No, it's just a really odd episode. It's like it's like, again, I haven't watched the CW, but yeah, it's literally like the CW makes a Doctor Who episode. It's so fucking weird. I honestly feel like I also, like, again, I don't know, I might be talking up my ass here, because as I said, I haven't actually watched that much CW stuff, but it even feels like it looks like a CW show in a way that
It does.
Doctor
No,
like
that's what
the
I was
rest
saying
of the
earlier.
show, yeah, the rest of the
Just-
show doesn't look like that.
The shit CG and shit lighting looks so much like CW superhero shows.
Yeah.
the costume even too, I mean, this is especially true
Yeah.
of like early, I mean, actually no, it's not true of early superhero CW, because early superhero CW was like Arrow and like trying to
Archer.
make that stuff
Arrow.
like, yeah, like more grounded. But then like this is like Legends of Tomorrow CW, where they've just been like, okay, fuck it, we're gonna we're gonna
Fuck it,
do
we
the
don't
thing.
care anymore.
We're gonna do Doctor Who but DC, and have these like weird ass like cheap costumes that you're supposed to believe can shrink a person to like atomic size. Like, it's that the helmet that he has, that the ghost has, is like clearly plastic. Or,
Yeah, that's
like,
what made me think of the Tick show.
or some like polyfiber bullshit. I don't know. It's and I don't mind that, because if CW was like more aware, like when they're occasionally aware of how stupid their stuff is, it's actually great.
Yeah, that's the Tick, because the Tick is actual comedy.
Yeah, or like the episode of The Flash where it's a musical. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
showing my theater kid card here, but that was pretty funny. So.
But what did you think about the time that Joss Whedon did it, like a decade or 2 decades earlier?
Look, for my Joss Whedon opinions, you'll have to contact my lawyer. I forget which opinion is correct right now. It's probably bad.
Joss Whedon, more like
Sex
gay
offender.
hard-on.
So I did some quick looking in. The director of this episode was not does not seem to have been someone who worked on the CW. However, he is a former member of a British one-hit wonder new wave band.
Huh.
It's the fucking band.
And those are
Yeah. No, it's the guy from the band that did that fucking really, really uncomfortable in hindsight fucking Turning Japanese song. That group.
I have no idea what you're talking about, and I'm glad I don't.
Oh, okay. Congratulations. Congratulations. You have dodged a bullet. You have dodged a bullet.
I guess this is something from your older generation.
No, this is 80s new wave. Like 80, like super early, like
Oh,
81,
okay.
82.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure why you expected me to know it then.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm the music nerd here.
Yeah.
You know what else is really
We
fucking
dodged a round of
stupid? You know what
artillery.
else is really fucking stupid that we didn't talk about? The fact that the alien brains have eyes in them. Like, what the fuck
That
is
was
that?
so funny.
Also, like,
No, and then he recognized their eyes because the German guy had the same eyes somehow.
Yeah. Even though
yeah,
the
they
eyes
flashed for a second and then they never do
and
that
the
again.
eyes aren't the same size as human eyes, and their placement is such that they wouldn't go into the eye sockets. It would.
And then later we see that the body has no
Yeah.
eyes, which implies that those are the same eyes.
Look, they're the third and fourth eyes that are used to see into the fifth dimension and check your chakra
The fifth
level.
eye
Okay,
is very
It's
important
a different.
for adequate navigation of the cum zone.
Yes, that. It's for finding the indigo people. That all the new age spirit science bullshit people talk about. Yeah. Also, like, just this whole species
Yeah.
makes no sense, which is why I'm glad they're like kind of written off as soon as the like rotating like ship cycle nuclear reactor thing is stopped. As soon as that happens, the Doctor's just like, you're done.
Yeah, no.
We don't care.
He just-
I fucking
just
love
kinda
the like,
stand-
Doctor, do you think this is over? And he's just like, yeah, and just like zaps
Yeah,
his
like
gun.
he just kind of
Like, fuck
stands
off.
there, it just like a complete dipshit, and it just is like, well, God, you know what? You know what's fucking again? This is
Yeah.
another like really stupid thing. The fact that he fucking cracks his head open to pull out the gun, and it's like, bro, you're wearing a fucking suit that has pockets in it. What are you doing? Why would you put that there?
Also, like, I don't know. This is like how, like, Doctor Who villains usually don't make any sense, but these, like, make even less sense on the surface of them, because there's these brains with eyes, but then they, like, rip open the skull of, like, the vessel they're in, and you can see that also rips the brain open, yet they've also somehow done it previously because they've, like, premeditatively stored items in there, like, such as a gun, such as, like, that weird payment thing that we saw in Husbands. So it's like, what the fuck is this even for? What is the point? What's the 500 IQ, like, Star Wars EU bullshit backstory that we're missing for this to make sense?
Yeah.
Answer, it doesn't exist.
It's so weird. Like, I was entertained for the, like, hour and a bit that it runs for, but it's weird how, like, little fucking plots has.
Yeah, it's surprisingly engaging for just being a total nothing burger. Like, it's a full hour runtime, and it really feels like it's, like, less substantial than some 45-minute episodes that are well paced for 45 minutes, but it's just, I don't know, I feel like it works. It's just sort of a slower ride, I guess.
Also,
absolutely.
It has the gall to do what the best, like, RTD and Moffat Who does, which is, like, be proudly, like, stupid and campy, and then, like, at the very end, there's a serious conversation where Peter Capaldi turns on his Peter Capaldi-isms and is just like, yeah, everything ends and that's sad, but everything begins again and that's happy too. And I'm like, motherfucker, like, son of a bitch, I'm in. Like,
yeah, and see,
like,
this is the thing, right? Chibnall Who can be fucking stupid, but Chibnall Who, when it's stupid, isn't, like, fun stupid. It's just kind of annoying or bad. The show takes it, like, I feel like, ironically, even though it's kept, like, a light tone, it's still, like, taking itself too seriously, almost. Or like, not being, like, dumb campy in the same way.
Yeah, I think they tried that with, like, Pating,
which was a good idea. I like the idea and design of the Pating. The episode it's in is just bad. It's a good creature. The one in the spaceship with the pregnant man, where the bit is entirely just he's a man that's pregnant. And the monster is the Pating, which is the thing that can, like, literally, like, chew through, like, anything.
I don't remember what the Pating looks like, but
it's just like a little tiny gremlin thingy.
Gotcha.
But, like, it's a good idea that happens to be in an episode that is bland at the best, bad at the worst, and really, like, I mean, I get that the episode came out in, like, 2017, and this is the Tory-run BBC that we're talking about, but, like, you could have taken that moment about, like, how, like, yeah, no, there are, like, legitimately, like, real people who identify as male that could potentially get pregnant, but they just don't, and go on the, like, haha, isn't that kind of weird angle.
The fact that Star Trek Enterprise pulls that arc, what? Like, okay, so there's an episode.
Yes,
yeah,
it
spoilers.
Does. My fucking daddy. Tucker.
Yeah.
I can't fucking believe Chris Chibnall got outleft by a show run by Rick fucking Berman.
Oh no. You misunderstand me. I'm saying it was bad then, and the fact that they haven't made any progress in that is like.
Oh, okay.
It's marginally.
It's on the same level as a Berman.
I thought that episode was all right.
No, it's marginally better because this is a tangent, but fuck it. It's marginally better in the Saranga Conundrum because from what I remember, again, I've only seen that episode once. The pregnancy was like a consensual like process,
yes,
etc. In the
it was a misunderstood consent.
Yes, problematic, but like ultimately like cool, we're moving. It's a little insensitive, but fine. In the Enterprise episode, it's treated as a joke when one of the main male characters gets pregnant and misled to be pregnant by this alien who basically, like, kind of, like, explicitly date rapes this guy, and, like, everybody on the enlightened crew of the NX-01 Enterprise are just like, you're a dude and you're pregnant, and that's funny, bro. Like, that's the whole joke. So I'm saying, like, yeah. So,
God,
anyway.
Enterprise really feels like cursed content.
It's sad, because it suffers from the same, like, Trek syndrome of, like, nearly every series of that era, in that
Where
the first like
bad.
one yeah, the first one or two, especially first, are like garbage, and then like the writers figure out what the show is and then they like make it sing. It's just unfortunate that like Enterprise was canceled just as they were like trying to do that. Anyway,
and also it came out at around the same time period as the revamped Battlestar Galactica, which I imagine just ate that shit up for lunch because the Battlestar Galactica is good.
Yeah, it was a combination of Rick Berman being Rick Berman, Enterprise underperforming, like seriously being like terrible and sometimes outright offensive in its first two seasons, and the fact that Star Trek Nemesis came out, which if you know anything
Doesn't that
about
have fucking Tom Hardy in it trying to be Picard?
it has that. It has psychic rape.
Oh no.
Yeah, it has, again, like early 2000s Star Trek. Bit of a yikesy one. But point being, to bring this back around, by the time that Star Trek came back in 2017, I believe, it's been like fairly progressive. Multiple openly trans GNC characters and, you know, trans kind of gender fluid wardrobe representation, a major gay male relationship as like important bridge members of the crew with the chief engineer and chief medical officer. Similarly, Doctor Who at this point in time is going to be, as we're entering Series 10, we're going to get into like mega based, Giga Chad based 12 with Punching a Racist and Oxygen, which is just a whole like episode of being based.
And Bill,
and
who
meanwhile,
ironically, like, for someone who I remember when that series came out and we were just all like, she just keeps saying that she's gay over and over again. But like, from as an adult now and getting the perspective of the landscape around Bill even today is like, oh yeah, no, this is not only better than most of the stuff that was around at that point in terms of like a major show like this is also better than the show's literally doing right now.
Yeah.
Anyways,
here's the new rule. It's a new fact of life at this point, is that when you get together with extended family, there's three things you don't talk about. You don't talk about politics, you don't talk about religion, and you don't talk about the Chibnall era of Doctor Who. That's the new meta.
oh no,
that we're
no,
experiencing.
believe me, unless RTD manages to somehow defy my expectation in the most incredibly hard way and shit the bed somehow, I don't know how he'd be able to do it, but somehow, I will be deleting the entirety of Chibnall era from my brain the second that special's done and we've talked about it on the show. That's it. I'm just going to pretend it doesn't exist. It didn't add anything of value. It has nothing memorable. I'm just going to pretend it never happened.
Yeah, I will say, I think, I mean, we're basically like wrapping up now, but I think like if Chibnall Who should be remembered for anything positive, it basically like broke the glass ceiling on like officially like anyone can be the Doctor. Like we've made we've made it a like white woman, and then the fugitive doctor is a black woman,
And then she gets
and,
sidelined and sent to Big
like,
Finish hell. Thank you, Chibnall.
yeah, like, you know, we can discuss how that like went in actuality, and we will probably briefly, because dear God, but it's like, yeah, it's nice that we're way off the beaten track. I'm so sorry. I brought up Enterprise, and then
I
like
mean,
all hell
let's
broke
be
loose.
real.
But
It's not like there was that much left in Dr. Mysterio to talk about anyways. So all this means is that the 3 people who listen to our show get to hear a little bit more of our lovely voices until next week.
yeah, I'm gonna cut off my one thought, because it's gonna be more appropriate when we briefly cover Chibnall, but it is my opinion at the end of this episode that we see, again, I've been memeing about it this entire time, of like, this is like the introduction, the coronation of Giga Chad 12, but like the look he gives when he's in the TARDIS in that like final sequence when he's alone and Nardole is talking about him and he's looking at the like stupid squeezy toy, it's just like something in him, like he decides like that he's gonna have a new beginning, and that's happy, and that he decides, like, you can kind of see like the pseudo like crazy like almost like Doc Brown like level, he like becomes a professor, like you can see that mask, like, and it's not even a mask, it's just like he's embracing this side of him that he can now because he wants to, because fuck it. And I don't know, that's cool. I'm super excited to talk about this upcoming series. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
And like it's really just one of those moments where you just have to sit back and think about like, oh yeah, this is one of the best actors who will ever grace this role. Like, it's really astonishing. Anyways, yeah, I'm ready to move on to ratings if everybody else is. Okay. Yeah, this episode is incredibly fucking stupid and CW core, but at the same time, even when there were the points where it just absolutely completely like broke my willing suspension of disbelief, it was still really fun to watch, and I'd still give it like an A, B+, A-. It's fun. It's nice to have, like, I mean, I feel like I have to contrast this with the last time that Moffat tried to do a just kind of fun Christmas special, which was that fucking Doctor the Widow and the Wardrobe one that was complete shit. So, like, you know, like, good on you, man. You managed to do something that was just kind of dumb, silly, fun, and you didn't do a repeat of that one time you made a completely incoherent thing with that one Series 8 one. So, good job. You finally got a fun Christmas special in between most of the other ones for Capaldi that are extremely emotional.
Did you give a...
Yeah, I gave it a B-, A+, sorry, B+, A-.
Okay, then my audio must have skipped out for a second. Weird. Yeah, this is self-aware CW core. I don't know. It's a Christmas like conceit, and unlike others where it might get grating because they have to remind you it's Christmas, this basically just takes place around there, and then they have their own fun superhero pastiche. The main actor being from that Dragon Ball movie just makes this more hilarious to me, in a good way. The chemistry is there. It's charming. Nardole, Matt Lucas as this like new like proto iteration of the Series 10 Nardole is already bringing like the good laughs and the good moments of someone who can keep up with the Doctor, and be more on his level, and that's cool. I'll say it for the last time, Giga Chad 12. Love seeing ya. Yeah. This was a good watch. I was entertained. I'd probably even return to it, which I don't often say of Christmas specials. This is a fuck it. I'll say it. This is a light 9.
Damn, high estimations.
And I don't fucking.
Also, when did you switch back to doing
Look,
numbers?
This is why if we do a game podcast after this, I'm just gonna say fucking drop ratings, because this is stupid.
Or we standardize it and we hold it to a fucking thing. I don't know.
I think it's pretty funny that we all have.
Yeah, no, I guess you're right.
Anyways, fucking, yeah, I don't know. It's an entertaining enough episode. I don't think there's all that much going on in it, but I think it's a lot of fun. So, I don't know, a 7.75. It's just a nice little time. I think it's an episode I enjoy watching. I don't think it's like totally crazy or anything, but it's fun.
Yeah. All right. So next week, we will be discussing Series 10, Episode 1, the pilot. And until then, you can follow the podcast on Twitter at B2TARDISPod. You can support us on Patreon for a number of benefits, such as early access to episodes, the ability to listen in live to episodes being recorded, and potentially even the ability to guest star upon an episode of your choosing. I'm Jeff. You can follow me on Twitter at WheatleyDL.
Stan ATs for clear skin. You can follow us at Ahura Borealis on Twitter.com.
You can follow us at Until Fear Leaves on Twitter.com.
And we will see you all next week.